YouTube, it's Tone. I'm back again, and I got another one for you. So this here is gonna be, let me get this over here. This is gonna be the 12 steps to reclaim your estate, your birthright citizenship versus corporate slave citizenship. And so this is a document written by a judge in Alaska when they were a part of the United States. I don't believe that they're part of the United States anymore, along with Hawaii as well. Uh, and that just shows you that it's all just really a corporate structure that you can entertain if you please, and then you don't have to if you don't want to. But they'll always test you in different ways. I mean, everything in life is a test. It really is. It's all really just a learning lesson, and just a test to see where you're at. So you should not. And I sometimes forget that, and I take shit personal sometimes too and shit. But it is what it is. We're all just human trying to, or whatever the hell we are, trying to work this out. And so here we go. Let's begin. So the top 12 steps to reclaim your estate. She's got a website here, morningliberty.com. I mean, there's some pretty cool stuff in there too. So Anna Von rates. So I'm not an activist. I am a judge of the Alaska State Superior Court, and the Alaska State is one of the several states guaranteed by the land jurisdiction of Alaska by statehood compact. That means that what I did here in Alaska directly impacts what applies to every other state on the land, continental United States, including Washington State. Okay, so if not properly convened, Washington State Court, not state of Washington, which is a state, a federal state operating in the international jurisdiction of sea, maritime, overturn my findings and public order, you will find that I already addressed the criminality of the North American Power Alliance and their subsidiaries. See attached public order and notice to law enforcement, including judges. If you would like to get to the heart of this matter and put an end to such encroachment upon the land jurisdiction of your state and its citizenry, there are some relatively simple steps to be taken. So everyone must choose their proper citizenship. And this is because when you go in, you're going to have to essentially make an affirmation when you go to court as to what it is that you are, to end all the speculation and the operating off of freaking assumptions like they like to do. They just freaking assume that everybody's a slave, and you act accordingly, and that's why you get treated like that when you go to court. You don't know who you are, and that's a problem. That's a big problem. But it works out in their favor, obviously. So everyone must choose their proper citizenship. Do you want your birthright citizenship on the land of the Washington or other state of land jurisdiction of the continental United States guaranteed to the United Colonies and carrying with it all your guarantees to the Bill of Rights, etc.? Or do you want to adopt corporate citizenship as a franchise owned and operated by other corporate entities and operate as a debt slave in international jurisdiction of the sea for the benefit of the Federal Reserve and the United Nations? Right? Crazy. So this is just a little insight as to what it is that actually happens there. And then so we'll move forward here. To all those who wish to retain their birthright, gather together and begin operating a county and state on the land known as Washington State, not state of Washington. Notify the registrars, which will be the people in your county, the county clerk and all that, operating in the counties where you were born, with a sworn affidavit that you are above the age of 21 and are the rightful entitled holder of your all capital letter name estate, which is not you, mind you. So anytime you have your ID, your birth your live certificate of birth, anything with the all capital letter name is not you. That's a corporate entity. And so you need to know that that is not you. So whenever you're dealing with these people in general in court and things like that, you're going to be making reference to the documentation and not you as a person, because they don't have jurisdiction over your physical body, but they're not going to tell you that. So essentially what they're trying to do is tap into your estate in order to draw funds, which most of the time they already did before you even walk in that courtroom, which is a crime. That's just fraud. So Where is it? To prove this, you will need at least 2 competent witnesses who know you and know your family and who can identify you in the photo included as part of the witness affidavit and verify your current address and at least the town address of where you were born. Typically, this will be an older friend or family member. I am a neutral person, John William Wiley, a family friend and physician of the McCluskey family with Duluth, Minnesota. For the past 39 years, I was the attending physician of the family member. Or I am John Bruce Richards' older cousin. And so these are just given different models of different people that could go in and what they would say. And so you can go ahead and copy and paste or download this if it was something that you needed. And so I can completely identify the woman in the photo shown below, now married to XYZ. Your current address will have to be corrected. You are the zip code exempt. So write out the whole state name, and if you have a post office box, change it to a general post office box, whatever number that would be, via a change of address card. You will also need a long form birth certificate that has been authenticated by the Secretary of State of your birth state for use in non-Hague Convention County like Indonesia or Taiwan. I did mine in Jamaica, but I think that Jamaica just went over to the Hague actually, so you're gonna probably have to use either Indonesia or Taiwan, maybe even Japan. Actually, you could use for that. In most states, you can just order the birth certificate form from Vital Statistics for an extra fee request that it be sent to the Secretary of State for authentication, and then all sent to you without going back and forth. But you do have to send a money order and stuff like that along with it because there's a fee associated with the authentication as well. Just keep that in mind. And so I did mine on the state and the federal level, which I mean you can take your pick, but I did mine on both. So once you get the authenticated birth certificate, you never let it out of your hands again. You make copies of the birth certificate and the authentication and write for administrative use only in red on the face of these documents, and then on the back you write also in red, I certify as document holder that this is true and correct copy of the birth certificate and the authentication on file, and you can go ahead and place a number there. Signed upper and lowercase, all rights reserved, and sealed on the signature with your thumbprint also in red. Copies of the self-certified authenticated birth certificate, the witness affidavit signed before a public notary under a statement to the effect, witnessed by notary does not change jurisdiction from the land. And that's in order to keep it private and so it doesn't enter into the public domain or realm, if you will. So written above the notary block and your own affidavit should be entered onto the public record of the probate court in the county of your birth. Request certified copies of the public record created as well, because then you're gonna have different documentation numbers, and they're gonna keep track of that. I mean, they may or may not want to. That shit is not your problem. They have a duty to, so they have an obligation to, and you're gonna hold them to it. So moving along. So once this process is completed and your claim is received, post on the public record of the probate court, and you have certified copies of the action, you are the recognized executor of your own estate. You really always were the lawful entitled holder. The rats just misunderstood on purpose in order to defraud you and control your assets. You are the asset, by the way. It's you. You are the value. That's why they need you to think that you're that piece of paper. So now you are the executor of the estate, and they have to do exactly what you tell them to do, and they cannot interfere whatsoever. They can no longer harass you or presume upon you or make false claims against you. No judge can act as the executor de son tort with regard to your assets. So they can no longer have any claims to any of your funds under the guise of a tort or injury that they claim that you made to them, which is beyond me, because I don't understand how you can injure a state when a state is not even a real thing. It only freaking exists on paper. Crazy. Welcome to the fucking Twilight Zone. So number 5, you meanwhile have fully realized that there are 3 versions of the United States in play. There's the continental United States, which is on the land, for example, Ohio State, and there's the federal United States, the sea, which operates in maritime jurisdiction, for example, the state of Ohio, and the corporate United States, also known as the municipal United States, which also operates in the international jurisdiction of the sea. For example, the state of Ohio, the actual nation, is the state which holds land jurisdiction. All the other corporations incoherent states that exist only on paper and which as federal states have no authority on the land except that which directly pertains to their own federal citizens. To their own federal citizens. Alright, where we at? Yeah, so alright, so we'll go to number 6. Standing as the lawful and title holder as the American state citizen on the land jurisdiction of the continental United States, you are empowered to serve as a juror of the continental United States so long as you are not a member of the Bar Association and have attained the age of 21. If you meet the other requirements, age, education, etc., that were established for public offices of the land-based state prior to 1860, or meet those requirements adopted by the local citizens of the county now, you may operate as a judge, sheriff, grand juror, coroner, or in any office of the state on the land of the county or the township, so long as you're not a member of the Bar Association, which most of these people are members of the bar too, right? And you got them double dipping and playing both sides. So you'll have a lawyer and or a judge, which went and filed all this paperwork to operate as a sovereign, and then they're gonna go ahead and act as a bar member too, and go ahead and rob your funds out of your freaking estate. Crazy, right? So be aware that the Titles of Nobility Amendment, ratified prior to the Civil War and incorporated into the actual equity contract as known as the Constitution, which is a trust for the United States of America, is still in effect and still prohibits Bar Association members from holding any public office in the continental United States. So they can't operate on the land at all. All these courts you see, all these judges operating them, are operating in purely private capacity as corporate administrative tribunals and as military tribunals. The proof of this is plain to see. All state statutes they use are privately copyrighted, so are not public documents. The flag in their courtroom are all executive flags of the commander-in-chief. They are operating in special admiralty and falsely presuming that you are an enemy combatant or a prisoner of war. Instead of recognizing that you are a civilian, once you put this nonsense to rest by reclaiming your estate from the probate court, they face court-martial and death penalty criminal charges if they continue to take such actions against you. So these are going to be acts of war next time that they approach you in any fashion other than hello, sir, or hello, miss, and things like that. Because they tend to get real fucking disrespectful, not realizing how much power that you actually have. So, and you know, a lot of it's not even fault of their own. They've been lied to too and just used as pawns. So sometimes that do kind of feel bad, but they don't feel bad for you, right? So moving on. As the lawful citizenry of the continental United States, you each have more civil authority in your little finger than the entire federal government. You hold plenary jurisdiction over the land and its assets. Any attempt to boss you around while you are standing on state land or on your own property is a breach of jurisdiction. Any crime committed on federal property is, of course, another matter. If you engage in actual international commerce, that federales have something to say about it, but most Americans are only engaged in peaceful trade among the organic states of the Union. The federal union may only promote and regulate trade among the states so as to encourage and expedite trade. They are not allowed to restrict our international trade. Start reading the Constitution for the United States of America. The actual Constitution, not the corporate fake called the Constitution of the United States of America. The real Constitution is very brief. It's 10 articles, 3 amendments, including the Titles of Nobility of Amendment Act, which the later corporate fakes do not include. This document, and I mean, you can look at the, what do you call it? Look at the different constitutions. There's a constitution for the United States of America, and there's a constitution of the United States of America. 2 different constitutions. They can only change the one that they made. The one that we have always had, which is our birthright, still stands, but it's called something else. But they're not going to tell you that, because I mean, Burger King's not going to tell you what Mickey D's is selling, are they? Right? They're only going to tell you what works and what options that they have for you there, but they're not going to give you all your actual options. Why would they do that? They would lose money. So the United States colonies still hold the complete and plenary jurisdiction and extends it to every state formed, whether on the land or sea, which is corporate. Bear in mind that the land jurisdiction includes all actual material associated with the land. So you can, you being a birthright member, yeah, you have all materials associated with the land, soil, plants, minerals, people, buildings, animals, all the land assets that you have plenary jurisdiction on the land of the nation states. The federal United States has plenary jurisdiction on the high seas, inland waterways, and otherwise has only the right to speak to you and its own federal citizens who are residing on the land. So residing is a commercial term, and it means that you're there temporarily to do business. That's what residing means. So you don't reside anywhere, you domicile. Domicile is private, residing is doing business on the land. You don't reside on the land, you inhabit the land. The problem has been that they have been offering to contract, and everything that you get from them is an offer. You can freaking reject it or freaking accept it if you want, depending on how you feel. It's up to you. Actually racketeering and press ganging on the land jurisdiction and forcing American state citizens to contract with them under conditions of non-disclosure and semantic deceit. Semantic, just changing definition of words and things like that in their own books. It's crazy, right? You go in there thinking that you're speaking English, you're really talking legalese. They got a whole other dictionary with different definitions for words that are the same in a different dictionary, right? It's just a bunch of multifaceted fuckery, really. Games. These dudes are clowns. Straight up. So allowing them to falsely claim that we are corporate franchises or even corporate franchises of their foreign federation and its various corporations. All right. So craziness. Alright, so where we at now? 17. I'm just writing down the time here for the slides. So right here we got the last slide. So now you begin to see where your power lies and how you must exercise it. We have been swamped with pirates and armed marauders who are our employees, operated under diabolical misappropriation by governmental services corporations that are in turn owned by and operated by international banking cartels. So here are the examples. The Federal Reserve, newly organized as a franchise of the United Nations, Inc., is fronting its own franchise doing business as the United States of America. So this entity has created hundreds of millions of public utilities operated under the given names of living Americans. You can recognize these new corporate franchise doppelgangers because they are all using the names in this form. All capital letters, and it's going to be bold. That's a different language. English is upper and lower case. When you see the all caps, it's a dead entity. It's a corporation. So are you a public utility owned and operated by a franchise subsidiary of the Federal Reserve banking cartel, operated by the United Nations? No. Time to stand up and show this baloney. The effort is underway to put an end to this criminal fraud scheme and seize back the assets of the continental United States that have been stolen and plundered by the federal United States corporations and misdirected employees. You can help by donating time, money, and skills to educate others, to document and prosecute claims. Also time to repudiate national debt and reclaim the credit and assets which have been purloined by various states of franchises via fiduciary trust fraud and fraudulent convertible debt. Right? So, I'm here and I'm doing the best that I can in order to get this information out. You know what I mean? It's that a lot of people don't understand what it is that's actually happened. And, so they don't even know that they need help. They just think that this is the way that things are. Like me, I've always known that there was a problem with this shit. And I've had a lot of run-ins with the law and things like that. And so I understand divine guidance. But I also understand that there's lessons that need to be taught for certain actions that have ever been taken. And so this puts you in a position to go ahead and start teaching lessons, right? Because you're going to keep learning them until you figure it out. And then you're going to start teaching lessons, which is a much better side to be on. It's nice on this side. So that's what I got for you for now, man. If anybody needs any consultations, a little more information, send me an email and I can I'll send you whatever I can. So until we meet again.